Eddie Hearn came out and stated that he made a massive offer for Charlo to fight Andrade in 2020, which is up to $7 million, I believe. And Demetrius Andrade follows up by wishing both of the Charlo twins Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas it is, but Andrade is so focused on the smoke that he left us out the picture. So I'm going to do a little favor for the champ, and I'm going to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Enjoy it with your family / Akhis, Ox, or Akhis, or whatever you want to call it. And let's get straight to it. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my Akhis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Akhi TV. If you want to be part of the Akhi family, then click on the notification bell to get notified every time you post to go live, or at least subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute, and if you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't, and listen to old media. Now, Eddie Hearn came out and he basically responded to Charlo, saying that he's willing to fight an Andrade if a Canelo fight and a Gennady fight is not on the table for him. He's willing to go to Dazn and have a one-fight contract with them, which Eddie Hearn basically responded by saying Charlo exactly the offer he was asking for. And he also stated that, hey, if you beat Andrade, you possibly could fight Canelo next, which we don't know how likely that is, because even when Charlo knocked out Williams, who's a unified champion at 154 at the moment, Canelo Alvarez wasn't interested in fighting Charlo then or now, because obviously even now Charlo has Canelo strapped. So we all know the blueprint of fighting Canelo is look horrible, not look great, because Canelo at the moment, he's negotiating with Saunders and another 168-pounder Smith that look horrible on their last performances. So like I said, we know the blueprint. However, it's so shocking to me that Dazn is offering all this money to Mikey Garcia, who's making $7 million, to fight a Jesse Vargas, and Charlo to fight an Andrade. And we all know Canelo fans want to claim that Charlo's a nobody, but he's getting offered $7 million to fight an Andrade, right? It's funny to me that Dazn have all the talent pool, or most of it, when it comes to the middleweight division, just like the PBC have most of the talent pool at 147. However, unlike the PBC, for example, when Errol Spence was the most feared and the most ducked, just like Andrade is today on Dazn, Errol Spence, on the other hand, he got the big fights, or at least some of them. He got the Sean Porter fight, he got the Mikey Garcia fight, he got the Lamont Pearson fight, and look at him today. He's a unified champion at 147 that's ranked #1 and one of the most highest paid athletes in boxing, period. And on the other hand, we have Andrade, where you think, since he's on the network where most of the talent pool is at 160, you would think he will land all these big fights. I mean, Dazn been trying, don't get me wrong. Dazn offered Gennady Golovkin to fight, they turned it down. Dazn also offered Saunders to fight at 168, he turned it down. And we all know Dazn been trying to push for Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. So they can't even force Canelo to fight Gennady Golovkin, which that's a fight that the network want. So imagine them trying to force Canelo to fight Andrade, where Canelo stated he's boring and he's not on his level and he's a nobody and this and that, right? So good luck to Dazn trying to force Canelo to fight an Andrade. That's not gonna happen. It's gonna have to be at his free own will. However, Dazn offering all this money is great for the sport, it's great for the fighters, but it's bad for the network, because yeah, they have the right blueprint. However, their game plan is not gonna work if they can't force these fighters to fight each other that fight on the network. I mean, it's a no-brainer. However, it's because of the stipulation on the contract where they have to do better, because like I said, at the end of the day, if Gennady Golovkin could make 10 to 15 million fighting Steve Rose, that's not gonna grow the network. Obviously, Gennady Golovkin is not gonna accept no Andrade fight. Of course not. He just want to cash out versus Canelo Alvarez. Until then, he is not fighting anybody, or at least anybody that's gonna be a threat to him. So Dazn have to do a better job when it comes to writing the contract before the fighters do sign them. I mean, you got Bob Arum on one hand. I mean, people say he got slave contract. So Dazn have to do better if they know better and they want to live in boxing and have longevity in the sport. So I say all of that because, like I said, you don't see PBC, for example, reaching out to ESPN and offering Terence Crawford all the money in the world because they can't offer Errol Spence the right fights on their side. That's unheard of, especially when they have the talent pool. And that's exactly what Dazn is doing. So Andrade, it ain't no longer a secret. He's one of the most avoided fighters in the world today. Him and Deontay Wilder, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and even back to the days where Rigondeaux was fighting. Even till this day, Rigondeaux still avoided, right? So I say all of that because we all know at the end of the day what's about to happen is the murderous road fighters against the hopeless fighters. The hopeless fighters going to fight against each other. The Canelos versus Gennady Golovkins versus the Sandras of the world. Meanwhile, the Charlos versus the Andrade, Errol Spence versus the Terence Crawfords, they're going to fight each other. So till then, hopefully the hopeless fighters will consider fighting the fighters on the coincidental list at least one time after they come off a big victory. For example, if Charlo fights an Andrade, at least Canelo Alvarez fight the winner of that, instead of giving up straps like Canelo and Lomachenko did, requesting the French fries belt to avoid a mandatory that's been a mandatory for a couple years, like a Charlo, for example. So I say all of that because obviously Charlo versus Andrade was supposed to be the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence version at the middleweight division, because them two fighters in particular are the best at 160 and probably around that weight. And that fight should have been a fourth quarter fight, but because Canelo gave up his strap and wasn't willing to fight Charlo, and so did Gennady Golovkin when the WBC ordered that fight to happen. And on the other hand, Andrade, obviously he haven't had any luck either because Sandra said no, Gennady Golovkin said no, Canelo's not interested, even though they fighting on that same network. So Dazn have to look outside of the box and offer a lot of money for fighters to come see Andrade on Dazn. So that being said, it ain't a coincidence. I mean, Sanders only want to fight Andrade only if he's on steroids that make him 10 times faster, 10 times stronger. If not, then he's not willing to fight an Andrade. Even if Andrade move up to 168, even if Andrade has to move up in weight, he still wouldn't fight him. So that being said, obviously they're going to have to fight each other since nobody's willing to fight them. I mean, can you believe that Charlo, the man that fight on Showtime, the network that doesn't have most of the talent pool at 160, can y'all believe Charlo has better options? I mean, he could fight a Deveryachenko, he could fight Banks. I believe they working on that fight as we speak, and he could fight Benavidez. So it's hard to believe that Charlo have better options than Andrade. So obviously Andrade need that fight more so than Charlo, because Charlo is gonna have at least better names than Andrade that are available for him to fight. So we'll see. I believe you don't take the first offer because the second offer will be better. If they offered Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas, I mean, you already know they're gonna offer Charlo more money than that. I mean, Jesse Vargas is not even a champion. Mikey Garcia is not even a champion, right? And on the other hand, Charlo and Andrade are the best at 160, and they both are champions. So it's obvious that they're gonna offer him more money if he says no to the first offer, probably up to 10 million in my opinion. So hopefully that fight get made next. I can't wait for that fight to happen. I mean, like I said, that's the Errol Spence versus Crawford at the middleweight division, and the winner I mean, it's going to be very hard for Canelo Alvarez not to fight the winner, regardless if he want to or not. It's almost impossible for Canelo to avoid that winner, because it's going to be so much pressure on Canelo Alvarez. But it's already a lot of pressure now. I mean, Canelo been avoiding Charlo and Andrade for almost 5 years now. So that being said, drop your comments below, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't, and listen to these casual fans. Follow Lunatoon Boxing for the funniest boxing memes. I will leave his IG link in the description box below. So keep it a G and follow my man. He too part of the new media wave. Shout out to Dante for starting new media, and I appreciate DBN for allowing me to post on his network. He believe in his Akhi, and you best believe he's not mistaken. So that being said, click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post, to go live on Split Decision every Sunday, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV or Akhi TV or Akhi TV or whatever you want to call it. Peace, and we out here.